Hey, all. Welcome to this live stream episode of the Smarter Business Podcast, where we talk to video professionals who are finding interesting ways to grow and operate their businesses utilizing video. And today we have Ben Albert from Balbert Marketing, and Ben's on with us to kick off First Videos Month on the Vidwheel Creator Network, or VCN. If you find the type of content we have here interesting and engaging and useful, go ahead and hit the engagement buttons wherever you are consuming this podcast and live stream. Please subscribe, share, review, you know the thing. So with that, Ben, thank you very much for coming out. I will give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself.
Well, Neil, thank you for having me. I love the shirt. We're the black shirt gang today,
That's right.
and I'm the host. I'll step back a little bit. I like to joke that I ask questions for a living, and there's two segments where I ask a lot of questions. I'm the host of the Real Business Connections Network. We're a network of 5 shows, all kind of wrapped in one. And I'm the owner of Balbert Marketing LLC, where in reality, marketing's never square peg round hole. It's all about asking the right questions, finding the right solutions to the particular problem. So video obviously is embedded in everything I do in both marketing and podcasting. And I'm excited to dive deep with you today, Neil.
Excellent. And do you want to give a little more context? You said the 5 shows kind of bundled into one. What are the shows, and how I guess how do they fit together?
Sure. So it's called the Real Business Connections Network. I started with a show called Rochester Business Connections in my hometown of Rochester, New York. I just kept adding segments and I rebranded to Real Business Connection just so I could, market to a larger audience. The 5 shows are all around, I'd say there's 2 main categories. There's business growth, so there's actionable tips and insight, but then there's personal growth. How can I be a whole person at home, at work, when I'm not working? So everything that I learn in the business growth element, I can actually implement and be successful. So there's 5 categories in between that. We can go through them all if you want, but it's all around having those conversations on business and life.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's kind of the complete package, right? Not just business, a little bit of life growth and a little bit of business growth as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was just gonna say we've got really actionable stuff. So we've got like 5-minute Fridays, which are 5 to 10 minutes long, and then we have full long form conversations like the one that we're having here today.
Perfect. So this may be a little harder for you with so many fingers in different pots, but I usually ask my guests to boil down what you do to one sentence. What do you think that would be?
I help businesses save time and make money through proven marketing systems.
All right. You were ready for that. Yeah. Awesome. Excellent. So I brought up that we are talking because it is First Videos Month on the Vidwheel Creator Network. For anybody who's unaware, the Vidwheel Creator Network is a video community that helps solopreneurs and small businesses leverage video to increase your reach, become more efficient, and find your perfect fit clients, which of course is good for business growth. If you're interested in learning about any of the other events we have this month for First Videos, visit events.vidwheel.com. And we have a couple of Zoom meetups there where we have experts come in. We've got another live stream that we'll be doing. So, come check it all out. And Ben, I'm going to ask you as our first question of First Videos Month. What was your first video?
So, first ever video, it's tough for me to pinpoint. I would take videos of bands a lot, but that wasn't me on camera. Where I really got my start on camera was on Snapchat. I would do the whole holding the button, and I would do something that at the time I called City Walk Talks. and I just walk around the city. I lived in the city. I was a city kid. I loved the city. And nothing was stopping me from going out and doing fun things, whether it's walking to the grocery store, walking to the bar, it doesn't matter. I pull out my phone and just rant on philosophy, ethics, personal development, marketing, just anything I wanted. And weirdly, this crappy angled Snapchat short segment City Walk Talks, I'd get constant DMs and then I'd stop doing it for a couple weeks and people would want to see it. So it was very sloppy and it wasn't like a perfect, sit down and edited video. It was just me kind of off the cuff saying random stuff as I talked to the Snapchat community.
That's excellent. Yeah, and that ties in well with last month was TikTok month, and
Mm,
we heard over and over from the experts we spoke to on that platform. It wasn't about polished video, right? It's about content, and people actually expect a little rougher around the edge type video, which I would imagine Snapchat's in a similar space there, right? It's not
yeah.
about and that goes for a lot of video platforms, right? I think a lot of people do get hung up on that, having like a really produced video when the first thing you should always focus on is content. And then if you've got the good content, sometimes there's advantages to ramping up production value. But that's great. And that is an excellent kind of answer to the first video question. Were you ever hesitant, or were there hurdles to get over to start doing that type of video production for you?
So in this scenario, I liked Snapchat because of the 24-hour window and it would just disappear forever. So
Sure.
I feel like I was very detached from outcome. People would just send me messages and they would give me topics to ramble about. But I was very detached from metrics. I had nothing to sell. It wasn't my day job. So since I was very detached from outcome, I think it was a little more comfortable to actually just go on and chat. I will say my first YouTube video, I filmed it at Martin Luther King Park in Rochester, New York, and it was a nice setting, and I did it all in one take, but it took me like 10 tries to do it all in one take.
Hmm.
And that video has since been deleted because I was so attached to the fact that no one was seeing it. I felt like I looked silly. My points weren't very clear and concise. And it was interesting because I was very attached to the outcome. And when I was attached to the outcome, I got way more caught in my head. Oh, this isn't performing. I look bad, so on and so forth. But I tell that end of the story that nowadays it's like I'm happy that I had those bombing videos. It was the same thing as City Walk Talks, right? But I'd bring a tripod and then I just
Right.
put a camera on the tripod and then I would do it talking to the camera, but posting it on YouTube and not having it disappear and having it more production value actually made me more nervous. But I'm really happy that I did it because I got more comfortable in that higher stakes environment.
Yeah. Well, that's the permanence in it, right? Like
Sure.
that can get into your head for sure. So we've had a person we've had speak to the group a couple of times, and he's a YouTube strategy marketing guy who's great. Eric Worrell has said, and I always like this for that type of situation. And like the reality is, you put a video out there and it's not that good, people aren't going to see it, right? Like that we all get in our own heads about like, ooh, I don't know if this looks right or if I come off right here. And the reality is, unless it's like crazy good content for some other reason, it's not really going to make the rounds, right? Only a few people are going to see it, that type of thing. You really don't like it, you delete it. And it that's part of the reason I bring that up, is that's such a common um, kind of hang up that people have about getting
Mm,
that first video out there. So it sounds like, and I always bring this down to three things. Most people are either afraid of the camera, afraid of the gear, or afraid that they're going to look silly or, not come across the way they want to. You'd probably be in that third bucket there, right? So
And the
That was
gear. I was in all buckets when I
all the
started.
that was always my bucket. I didn't want to get on camera because I thought I would, sound stupid, I guess, right? Or not make the points I wanted to make. So,
There was coworkers at work watching my video, kind of like making fun of me, and
mm,
that hurt a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Um, Part of why I'm bringing up that pain and my struggle and messing up is because I needed to feel that emotion and get through it. Like people pointing, kind of making fun of you, and they're your coworkers, and they're just kind of dicking around
Mhm.
and being jerks on purpose. But kind of moving into that pain actually made it way more comfortable to do more videos in the future. So
Yeah, and that's that I think, yeah. So you experienced a more firsthand version, right? Where you actually face to face had a conversation with somebody who had seen the video, which is interesting too, right?
the 8 views were actually quite
They were
literally
all
right in front of me.
they were all in front of you. Well, yeah. And then another tidbit that we will share with people who are worried about getting their videos out there is very often one way to kind of get past that step, right? Where you think you're not coming across as you'd like, is to record the videos and not even post them, right? You can share them with closer uh, business associates, or just have them on your desktop and watch it and be like, okay, I did that. The next one, I'm going to do these things differently to help kind of improve on those things, and just go from there. So, um, all right. So now you use video all the time. It's a regular part of your business. What do you think the benefits of now that you're not afraid to make the videos with regularity, what are the benefit to your business?
So there's a million and one. You already know this, Neil. The big thing for me is I still am conscious with video editing and posting stuff. I like live streaming. We mentioned I have a podcast and I like just a raw conversation, and it's very uncommon that I have to edit it. I created an animated intro and outro, but then the conversation itself is just raw, real, no editing. I still like that little less demand for perfection, kind of going back to the City Walk Talk Snapchat days. I kind of just like the reality, just one time, let's do it. Um, the real benefit beyond anything in doing a podcast like that is people see you. And again, marketing company, every single landing page, every sale page I have has a video element because I want to educationally meet people on their level. So to have audio, to have a transcript, have subtitles, to have your face quite literally has people recognize me. So if I were to post a video that's an hour long podcast and they only watch 15 seconds of it, that's not great for retention of them actually seeing the video, but they got to see me. So I don't, you're way better than I am, Neil. I don't say that I'm a great video editor. I'm not a perfectionist or even really all that good at it. But by utilizing video in long form, by using it on live stream, by using it in Instagram, Facebook stories, things like that, I can create memory of who people know what I look like. It builds my brand. So it's really just embedded in everything I do in the podcast. Um, whether I like it or not. Sometimes I'm a little insecure, but I'll I'll post it on Facebook, and I'll get a nominal amount of views on my Facebook video. I mean, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on my website. There's audio, but even if I get 10 Facebook views, that's 20 eyeballs seeing me,
Mhm.
further building my brand and building my authority.
Yeah, that's some great points there. That you get a chance. The way I usually put it is to meet people before you meet them, right?
Mm.
Even if somebody sees you and gets a sense for you and how you work and how you, I don't know, might do business with them. that can be super useful, not just to attract people, but to disqualify people who aren't going to be a good fit, right? And then the other point, like we spoke about before we got on, I live stream these now. And though I have a background in editing, I live stream so that I don't have to do any editing. So this is this will go. It's going live out to LinkedIn and YouTube, and then if needed, we'll do some tweaks after the fact. But that's it, right? Like it's a good way to make it a much lighter lift for small businesses, solopreneurships. Yeah, it's not all about the editing. So we covered some of the benefits, and I think you had some great points there. How about challenges? Do you find any challenges with video? We talked a little bit about the initial challenges. Is that still an issue, or is there anything else that you find challenging with the medium?
Well, imperfection's always going to be a challenge. Um, the nervousness of looking bad or saying the wrong thing, especially when you live stream. This is happening live. I'm not
Mhm.
going to swear. I'm not going to say anything stupid, but I could, and maybe I will. Who knows? I will find that a challenge like that is such a benefit because if you're in business and you utilize Zoom, it's a challenge to, again, right now I'm intentionally using my hands.
Mhm.
But just using your hands a little bit more, looking at the camera, being present. Like it's one thing, it's one challenge to be in a meeting and being bored and kind of like scrolling on your phone or taking notes. But if you're on a Zoom meeting and someone can have you right in front of them, you better pay attention or you look like an idiot. So
Mhm.
there's a challenge of being totally present and being comfortable on camera. But where that becomes such a massive benefit is, you can't turn back a bad sales call. You can't turn back a bad investor call. You can't turn back a bad presentation. You can edit a bad video, but you can't turn back when you're just bombing in a business context. So by creating video, by going live, by getting comfortable with it, you're actually developing, they call them soft skills, but I feel like they're as hard of a skill as possible. These, skills of just body language and charisma and presence that can actually seep into everything you do in your business life, assuming that you utilize video in a remote environment. If you don't, it's a little less of a benefit, but most of us are using video at least a little bit in a remote environment and helps us show up much better in that environment as well. We went to challenges. I went right back to benefits, but the
That's
challenge
all
is
right.
the biggest challenge is not being good at stuff, really, and failing. But then by failing and not being good at it, you actually get better at all those things, which can help you in other categories.
Yeah, as long as you're always willing to kind of, I guess, uh, be a bit self-critical, and I don't want to say that in a way where you're beating yourself up, but being real when you see things maybe played back about how you could improve. Yeah, there are yeah, you're always going to be able to move in the right direction, right? We talk a lot about incremental change in the VCN, and if you look at it as you're always going to improve one little thing from one video or podcast or live stream to the next, then you're going to look back in a year and be like, "Whoa, look at me! Look, I am doing it way better than I did back then." Right? So
You're spurring like a light bulb moment for me that part of the incremental change with video is you're actually documenting that incremental change as well. So I can go back and I deleted it, but it's still on my hard drive. I can look at that video that I bombed and people made fun of me at work. And then I can look at videos today and quite literally document that incremental change as you go.
that's a great point. Yeah, it's there, right? Whether you've deleted it or not, you if you still have a copy, you can always go back in time and see what it looked like. So, my next question actually was on improvement. You feel like there has been some good improvement since that first video? What do you think those improvements are?
Well, a friend of mine, she's a politician, and she saw just a couple of the videos I had done. Like during the holidays, I'll do a video, this or that. Most of my videos are just live recorded, but for special occasions, I'll actually sit down, just me and the camera, generally one take videos. And she's like, I work with a lot of politicians and we have to like teach them this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Like they don't look at the camera, they never use their hands. There's like a disconnect. And she was just like, you are really good at that kind of stuff. And she says that to me. She doesn't realize that I had to practice it, that I stunk and I still kind of stink. I always kind of have a chip on my shoulder, but she didn't realize that I stunk and I got there. But then when a politician that works with other politicians on that kind of stuff recognizes that, w- obviously people are recognizing that as well. So yeah, and it comes with practice, right? It really just
Yeah.
comes with practice.
Yeah, that's incredible validation, right? Especially if, you haven't looked at it yourself in that way. To hear that from somebody in that position is probably great to hear, and you're on the right path. And yeah, if if people are paying her to teach people that, then you may have another income stream too there, Ben. So that's all good stuff. Do you have any tips for people who are out there who are maybe just getting started with video on how to how to come across well on camera, or how to get through that first video?
The first thing I'd say is go to YouTube University. Actually go on YouTube and mimic some of those charisma or just speaking coaches. Take it from them, not me. One tip, if you're incredibly afraid of the camera, is maybe you overlay stock video, or you hire an animator, you become an animator, you create animated images. Most my videos, every landing page I have my business, but then I have squeeze pages for different sectors of the business based on industry. Every page always has an animated video, so I can actually read from a script, focus just on the tone, and then the animations can tell the story for me. So I guess my two tips would be go to YouTube University, look up some public speakers. Brendan K is very good. I'm going to butcher his last name, Kumalasare. Brendan K is really good. Dr. Alex Lyon's really good. The channel Charisma on Command's really good because they do breakdowns of celebrities and kind of talk about what they're doing well. So take it from the experts there. And if you're like me and still nervous on video sometimes, go ahead and animate or use stock footage. And oftentimes my animated and stock footage videos are actually way more exciting than my, boring guy talking to the camera videos anyways. So lean into other sectors if the on camera part kind of feels weird to you.
Excellent. That's great advice. And yeah, I had something there, but I lost it. So we'll just move on. All right.
Cool.
You use a lot. We've already talked about how you use a lot of video in your business. Do you consider your use of video a success, or are you still getting there, kind of thing?
It's hard to give you an exact answer on like KPIs and how well video moves the needle versus everything else. I
Hmm.
said it before, I do everything. So if I'm building a website, sometimes my clients, we don't have the means, this or that, but really my go to always is to have everything on the homepage. So the mission statement, whatever your services, need to be clear in words. It also should be represented in your video. I like to have an infographic or something visual. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what device or what kind of person, we want to meet them at their level. So I can't specifically say the video brought 70% additional return. I just put videos on every website, period, no questions asked, no non-negotiable, because I know people like video, I know people like graphics, I know people like to read. So it's really a holistic perspective that my numbers are great, my websites do fine, there's good engagement. My websites usually have pretty good dwell time. It's not like 6 seconds and then people click away. It's a couple minutes or longer. And video does a big part of that. So if we're looking at marketing and SEO, the longer someone spends on your website, the higher Google prioritizes it as a source of retention and someone they want to recommend. So if you have a video on your website, you've got the transcript, you've got all these things, and someone spends 5 minutes on one page. Wow, that's telling Google that you're an A+ site. And Google wants to recommend people that are going to enjoy the experience. I mean, Google is in the experience business. If you have a website and there's no retention, they're not going to rank you. So Google definitely allows me to rank higher too. Google video definitely allows me to rank
Yeah,
higher in Google
on
as
Google.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, I like it, right? It's a piece of the puzzle,
Hmm.
and it does have that added benefit of having some good um addition to dwell time, right? Or to get people locked in and have them hang out a little longer. So that works really well. Um and so do you have any kind of last thoughts on video or first videos? That's kind of, we're getting to the end of the formal question. So
Yeah.
last thoughts on there.
Well, one thing that is coming up for me now, because it's been throughout the whole conversation, I don't just do video. It is a
Mhm.
tool in my toolbox. Some people just do video and they're a specialist. Like Neil is way better at anything video than me, probably. I don't just do video. It's a tool in my toolbox that allows my marketing to be more holistic. So, posting text posts, posting images posts, posting video posts, getting comfortable on camera. It is a huge piece to the puzzle. And that piece isn't going to exist unless you go out and do it. So, again, if it's first videos, it might start with a live stream, it might start with a short TikTok, it might start with, just posting on your story. Just go ahead and do it. You look at Ty Lopez, Here in My Garage, that they study Here in My Garage video in Harvard as like a huge marketing tool, and they break down every little thing he did. He filmed Here in My Garage one take on a phone
Yeah.
and spent probably millions on advertising, has tens of millions of views. And now most people in the world of video and marketing or influence or any of that know Ty Lopez just because he took a video on his freaking camera phone. This is me in my garage. These are all the books I like to read. I love knowledge. It's kind of like it's a bad video, but it worked. You mentioned it earlier. We don't know if it's going to work or not. Like Eric said, post it, see if people like it. And if people don't like it, not many people saw it, you're only going to get better. So I just say go ahead and start posting.
I think that's a great piece of advice, right? The hardest piece to follow, perhaps, but if you can get through and do that first one, it just um well, this came up on a previous podcast. I think it was Alex Sheridan I had on maybe almost a year ago now, but he said something. I said something effective. You do the first one and it gets easier, and he corrected me and said, "No, you do the after the first one, you get better, and that's the real like difference between." That first video and that 10th and that 100th and all that, right? Is you as a person are improving. So
Mm.
um, I think I like that better than my initial take. So, and I have one more question for you, which is I tie every episode of the Smarter Business podcast together with the same question. It's called the Smarter Business Podcast. What's one thing that you've done to make your business or clients' business smarter?
Yeah. In marketing, it's all about reputation management. A lot of people, it's a good problem to have. Most of their business come from referrals. And oftentimes you lose business if your online presence isn't good. So by creating an online platform where that first impression's great, whether it's a brand new customer, referral, someone searching for you, it doesn't matter. You want to make a good first impression, and having video in the toolbox of how you make that first impression is massively beneficial. I think you should do it all. Again, you got to hammer down on what you do best, but having a blog, having video, and having images, having social media and a website really kicks butt. but video really is a massive key to that combination, that combination of things that'll help work for you.
Excellent. Well, I agree. Piece of the puzzle. I like it. I love the answer. Ben, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you
The
on the
ease
internet?
Easiest. So I love LinkedIn. So go there, Ben Albert, if you're on LinkedIn. But I made it really easy for everybody. So balbertmarketing.com, B as in Ben, Albert as in Albert Einstein, similar IQ, balbertmarketing.com/all links. It'll trip you up because there's 3 L's, balbertmarketing.com/all links. And that's where you'll get literally everything I'm doing on a one pager. So I want to hang out where you're most comfortable. Go to that link and hang out wherever you'd like. I'd like to make a friend. So
Awesome. I will put that in the show notes as we move forward here, or a comment on the live stream after we finish up. Thank you to all of you who have joined Ben and I here, having this conversation on First Videos. Ben had some great info, and if you are interested in what we talked about, or this type of content, please subscribe, share this video, and I appreciate you coming out.